Someone get me a new pair of pants because I think I just pissed myself. Just a few days ago at the 2016 DICE Summit, Todd Howard confirmed that Bethesda Game Studios is working on not one, not two, but 3 brand new long-term projects. Here's the direct quote from Howard. "We have 3 longer-term projects we're doing that are all, well, we'll talk about them at a future date. But they're different from anything we've done before, while also being a Bethesda-style game, big and crazy. But in many ways, different than things we've done before." Also worthy of mention is that when Howard was asked if one of the projects rhymes with Fallout 5, he just laughed in response. Now, the first and most obvious conclusion to make from all of this is that the 3 projects he announced are associated with Fallout and Elder Scrolls. Many people have been speculating that one of the projects is Elder Scrolls 6, another Fallout 5, and another some new series by Bethesda. However, I want to point out that Howard specifically said that they're different from anything we've done before, which means that either they're changing up the formula of Elder Scrolls and or Fallout very drastically in the next installments for each franchise, or it's not Elder Scrolls 6 or Fallout 5. Personally, not only do I hope that it's the latter, but I also think there's significant evidence that it is the latter. The way Howard discussed these new projects really indicates that there's something completely new and not just another Elder Scrolls or Fallout installment, which pretty much leaves us with just 2 possibilities, both of which are pretty exciting. The first possibility is that these games are completely independent of Fallout and Elder Scrolls, and possibly even all completely independent of each other. That is, they're the start of completely new franchises each on their own. And these franchises would all be on the order of Elder Scrolls and Fallout, since Howard did say that the games are, and I quote, Bethesda-style games, big and crazy. Which confirms that these projects aren't just going to be side attractions like Fallout Shelter was, for instance. No, these 3 games are on the scale of Bethesda's 2 biggest franchises. And if these games are indeed independent of Elder Scrolls and Fallout, imagine having 5 different game series from Bethesda Game Studios that are all of the same scope as Fallout and Elder Scrolls. Sounds like a pretty sweet deal, right? Well, I'm not going to deny that I'm hyped, but there are a couple things about this announcement that are really scaring me right now. If these games are indeed unrelated to their previous franchises, doesn't it seem like 5 different video game series is a bit much for one game studio? Bethesda Game Studios has always been a developer that values quality over quantity, but I feel like 5 different games would go against this philosophy. So, if Bethesda is indeed in the process of developing 3 new games for potentially all new franchises, then I'm really scared. When you're juggling a ton of projects at the same time, the quality of each one inherently goes down. If Howard's proclamation means Bethesda has moved away from their original philosophy and is now developing to quantity over quality, then I'm actually pretty pissed. One clarification I should make though is that Howard did say these projects are long term, so perhaps they're going to take their time in developing them. Which, if this is the case, then I suppose I'm a little less scared. However, like I was saying, I think there's a second and potentially just as plausible option for what these 3 games are. I mean, think about it for a second, guys. Other than a completely new franchise, what else is new that Bethesda Game Studios has never done before? Well, here's your answer. They've never remade and completely remastered a previous game. In other words, the second option is that these 3 projects are Bethesda potentially going back and completely revamping and remastering games like Morrowind, Fallout 2, Oblivion, etc. with next generation engine and graphics. On second thought, I'm actually not sure if they could do Fallout 2 since they didn't originally make Fallout 2, but Oblivion and Morrowind are definitely possibilities. Anyways, the point is that for me, this option makes a lot of sense, and here's why. Bethesda has only just over 100 employees, and the teams that develop games for them average only around 100 people. Skyrim, for instance, was made by a 100-person developer team. Compare this to Assassin's Creed 4, which was made by a 1,000-person development team. The point I'm trying to make here is not only do I think Bethesda games would suffer in quality if they started 3 new projects, but I also think it might just be flat out impossible. Can Bethesda really juggle 5 completely different games at a single time with only 100 people in their company? Or hell, can they even juggle 3 different games at a time? Given how overworked they already are with Fallout and Elder Scrolls, I'm inclined to say no. However, if they were just going back and remastering previous games, such as Morrowind, Oblivion, etc., then this really wouldn't be a problem. Because those games have already been made once, and while it will certainly be a ton of work to completely rework them, it would definitely be considerably less than if they made 3 all-new games. For me, this option makes more sense when considering Bethesda's workload and philosophy, so I would actually say that it's a pretty possible avenue for them. Even still, there are a couple of small issues with this being a reference to previous games remastered, which I could go in depth on, but that's more of a topic for a different video in the future. So if I had to choose, I would have to say that these 3 projects are completely brand new, but I'm not going to make any hard conclusions just yet. Well, alright folks, that is pretty much going to do it for this video. As always, if you enjoyed, be sure to drop me a like down below, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more Fallout and Elder Scrolls content in the future. Also, be sure to let me know your thoughts on this announcement. Do you think it's a reference to Elder Scrolls 6, Fallout 5, or something else like I do? Otherwise, I hope you all have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video.